Hello and welcome to episode 10 of our Timberborn update for modded playthrough with the Folktales faction. It is cycle 26 here. We've got a pretty good handle on this industrial area at this point. We did a little bit of cleanup last time, getting rid of all of these small flywheels and all of the windmills and everything. And we got a lot of this built out. There's still a pretty decent amount that we need to get to. And we also built this enormous, hideous, ugly, whatever you want to call it, apartment block here. And some of you guys liked it, some of you guys didn't. We are going to be tearing this down and rebuilding it to be slightly different in a way that I think is going to look a little bit better. And we also have a couple of other things to get to, including fixing this farming area here like I promised we were going to do a really long time ago. Adding some more hauling posts. Fixing district crossing employment, and then a couple of logistical things. But right now, since we're already here, let's just go ahead, bump our district crossings all the way up to 10 apiece. We do have the beavers to actually make this happen. So, of course, now we have a deficit of 7 jobs, 7 beavers to work jobs, rather, in the Iron Islands district, which we will have to augment by building additional housing, which we are going to do as soon as these smelters are all finished, all ready to go. So that is one of those things that is going to take a little bit of time for us to actually accomplish here. But that is a goal. A goal for today is to get to this, and then also this stuff over here. We'll see what happens. I am trying to do shorter videos. A number of you have expressed opinions one way or the other about the video length. And the people who like the longer videos really like the long ones, but the people who like the shorter videos really do not like having a 2-hour video twice, sometimes 3 times a week. So we're going to change it up a little bit. This one is not going to be 2 hours, as you can see by the actual length of the video itself. We are going to cap it, even if it hurts me. I do want to make sure that you guys are not getting actively irritated by these. But I digress. One thing we're going to do, make sure these are set to supply. That was a suggestion we received, because this is all kind of far away stuff. So if that's all set to supply, then nobody's going to be schlepping their stuff all over the place trying to get at this. Because this is kind of hidden away. We have a little bit more to do over here. We're not quite at the point where we have to do any of that yet, so we're going to leave that alone. Other than that, stuff is looking pretty good here. We've got a good amount of water stored up here. About midway through the temperate cycle, we have 10,000 food, although our packaged food supply is really low. That's something we need to fix. Figure out exactly what's happening here. I think it's probably an issue with the haulers, because we have so many things prioritized. And it's unfortunately just one of those things that I never have been able to actually, do correctly for whatever reason. I just end up prioritizing hauling on a bunch of stuff, and it usually goes poorly. But some things absolutely need to be. Other things, it doesn't really matter so much. But for right now, I don't think... Okay, we don't need the water pumps to be prioritized, because most of them are pretty close. Like right here, these guys are all really close to storage, so that shouldn't be a problem. In the Iron Islands district, we actually don't even have any pumps at all, so don't need to worry about that. So that should take care of most of that. In terms of raw food materials, we're looking... Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause the game. I'm going to get rid of these farmhouses. Just unbuild this entire area here. All of this stuff isn't even being used for storage or anything. So we'll get all of that out. Get rid of our paths. And then what we're going to do is actually similar to what was going on over here in our forest. We're going to bury a bunch of food storage underneath. So we're going to come over here. We're going to use our dynamite. We're going to blast this all the way down. But I can't do more than 2 of these at a time, just because of the way, well, all of this works. So we're going to have to do just a little bit at a time and do it that way. But I'm going to take this down. This is height level 3. I think I think I can't get away with having too much storage underneath. I know I definitely want to have the big, large warehouses that are going to be set to take all of the prepackaged foods and store underneath. But I might, depending on what it's looking like, I might put in a couple of warehouses for the raw things we're growing here, like the sunflower seeds, and maybe even some of these aquatic farmhouse items, because we have all the processed goods have a full at least 1,200 storage capacity, but the ingredients, it varies. It's not very consistent, and that's probably something we should get a little bit better at. The sunflower seeds I don't think are going to need a full 1,200 storage, but it would be nice to have a little bit more. Look at these guys all going here, man. We got beavers in the hauling post. We got a lot of stuff going on. We actually have a pretty decent number here. We actually have 45 total beavers, or 45 total slots for beavers working the hauling post. I believe 40 of these are here in Beaverburg 11, and yep, that is correct. So we actually have 40 haulers. A couple of you have said, hey, you really should have some more haulers, but I mean, we already have 40. So I don't know how many more we need to add. We will add more posts just because if you have the beavers, you might as well use them. But that's going to be one of those things we're going to have to get to. Do a little bit of trial and error, see what works, throw stuff at the wall. You know how that goes. So let's take a look at our farm here. We also need to expand this. But in terms of potato numbers, I think this is going to be enough potatoes, at least for right now. Carrots-wise, we might be okay with this. But I don't think it would hurt to have a little bit more in the realm of carrots. So I'm going to blast this out as well. I think they can still get to all this, yeah. Just to make that level with this section here. And then I'm going to put in another farmhouse up here once all of these trees have been removed. And I think, honestly, we probably need to blow this whole thing down too. Just for the sake of, you know, properly utilizing all of our space. And again, that's more of a long-term thing. We're gonna try and get stuff done, but it's gonna depend on what else we have going on. I need this guy to get out of here so I can blow this stuff up. All right. All right, so we'll do this down again. Now this is at height 2. I believe we can go down to 1 or 0. I'm bad at this. I just don't remember. Yeah, I should be able to go down 2 more levels from 2, so it should be 0 at the lowest. So we'll let them get at that. I'm not going to demolish this until we're ready to rebuild it all at once, just so we don't have the chaos of homeless beavers. But I do have some pretty cool ideas for this. What I'm going to go ahead and do is mark all of these trees for cutting. We're going to get rid of them because we're going to use this whole space here for all of these guys. And then, like I said, we're going to have farm stuff done up here. I actually don't know if this guy can cut down anything. No, this tree is not, well, we're not hurting for logs. So, you know, I think, yeah, I'll just get rid of it. Not a big deal. Especially because this guy now says he doesn't have anything to do. So, bye-bye. You don't need to be there anymore. Oh, this guy actually can reach this tree. So let's, since we don't have to, let's not demolish that. But yeah, what I'm going to try and do, once these chestnut trees are removed, I'm going to tear this down. And I'm going to rebuild it to look less like a, I guess the correct term would be a Soviet Union apartment block. People have other things they'd like to call those. But I want to kind of open the building design up a bit more, not use the backs of the lodges so much, to where we have a core of the building that is this, but then on the outside we also have some facing out, so you have those porches and you have the access to the outside, and maybe have a couple of tiers so that it's not just one width all the way up or down. Have the rooftop terraces and these side platforms that extend over them, but then also have stuff on top of that in ways that's hopefully going to make it look nice. All right, so yeah, we'll go one more level down there. And then we'll start laying the dynamite for this. I believe that's what's going to work well. We do have the dynamite to take care of that, but I think they're going to be working on this area first, and they definitely are. There we go. Now they can take care of that. This is all done. Blast off, indeed. Get rid of that slope. And now we have all of this space. It's all irrigated, perfectly ready to go. And we're going to put in at least one farmhouse. I'm going to check and see what the range... It looks like this is actually perfect range once the rest of this gets exploded. So this can actually reach most of that down there as well, which is good. So I'll put a farmhouse here, and then we might, just because we have the extra beavers, we might go ahead and put in a couple more of these. It's going to depend on how we feel. I might have to put in another row of these water pumps. We'll see. Not really going to be that worried about it. But based off of the amount of carrots we currently have stored up, I think it would not be a bad idea to go ahead and plant a few more carrots. Okay, they can't reach this. Let's give them a path right here. Just go all the way over there. They should no longer have any problems. But yeah, like I said, what I'm going to do is... Well, first of all, get rid of this guy. And this little pile right here. I'm going to plant some more carrots here, and then take a look at the rest of these. I don't think we really need to worry about planting too many more sunflowers. I think it's just a... I think it's just an issue of not having farmhouses over here anymore, why those haven't been kept up. But we'll evaluate. If we have to plant more sunflowers, then I definitely will. It's just not something I'm super keen on. So we'll be all right. The beavers will survive. They'll just have to eat a little bit less fancy food while we wait for the sunflower seeds to come back. Not a big deal. So to that end, let's get this dynamite detonated. They're going to come over and take care of that. And then I'm going to go ahead, since this is already up here. The farmers don't need the path. This is literally just to get this exploded and have access to the farmhouses. So I think it's going to be a smart idea to just have a very small section of this dedicated to growing carrots. We could even, if we felt like it, blow this up another level. Just have this be completely flat. But I don't know. I kind of like the organic curve we have going on here. I think it looks a little nicer. So anyway, but the point I'm making is this right here is all going to be carrots, and when these get blown up, they'll be carrots too. And I think we might end up planting some more sunflower seeds over here. We'll see what happens. Not really going to be that worried about it, but the sunflower seeds grow so fast. They grow every 5 days and you get 2 of them. I think we really do need to have the two farmhouses here working full time to take care of that stuff. All right, so that is going to be our last detonation there, which means we can plant these. Plant them like they're growing things. They're just bombs, but that's fine. And this guy no longer cutting anything down. I think this should be enough chestnut trees to give us the requisite amount of chestnuts. We'll see. Obviously, we have not really done too much in the way of experimentation on this stuff. I just kind of throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks, which seems to be my default option for all of this. But hey, if it works and it's stupid, well, it's not stupid. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Got to remember to mark these trees for cutting, all these oak trees down here on the other side. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. And that's done. Good to go. So now we also have these to mark that we hadn't before or had otherwise unmarked. So that's fixed. Hopefully that hasn't affected us too poorly. Then we have this whole area here is all marked for cutting. Does it really matter? No, but since we're already here, might as well fix this. There we go. Not really that big of a deal. If we need to at some point come back and mark the rest of these for cutting, then we will. I just don't want it to be sitting like this if we aren't sure we're going to need it. But anyway, that is complete. Oh, this area needs to be unmarked. I wonder why that whole thing was still up. Anyway, let's just take care of this just for the sake of my sanity. What little of it remains. And there you have it. That's all done. This area here is still being, I think, still being cut down. Or did I get rid of the, I think I got rid of them. It doesn't really matter. We have other things we need to be worrying about. All right, let's do this. That's it for that. Blow this up. Please nobody run into the middle of an explosion. Thank you for not being stupid. All right, we have a 3 deep hole. And what we can do now is we can either put in the large warehouses at the very bottom, which we're realistically going to do anyway. And then on the top, we have a choice because we're going to have a ladder coming in this way to let us get down there. But we can structure it a couple ways. We can have this built up like so, which I think is probably going to be the smart way to do it anyway. And then build on top of things. I think honestly this is the best option. Just have some sort of a way to get down in here. But we got to get everything else blown up first, right? But we'll do that, and then we'll have our farmhouses up on, not there, come on. We'll have those sitting up here, probably all the way forward, depending on where the ladder ends up having to go, and then that way we're not taking up a ton of vertical space, but we've used all of the space below ground that we can think of. Kind of hide our infrastructure in plain sight, which if you're into any sort of like civil engineering or anything like that, happens a lot more than you think it does. Especially stuff like water reclamation, stormwater management, which I guess those are kind of two things that go hand in hand. But take a look sometime. The next time you're out about in wherever you live and see if you can spot those kind of things. Because it's extremely, extremely interesting, the kind of engineering that goes into stuff like culverts, stormwater management, and everything like that. And I just think it's fascinating. But it's almost always hidden or disguised or integrated into different parts of like architecture and engineering of things that most people aren't ever going to notice it, which I think is a good thing because, you know, it makes the area look a little bit nicer, not having to have all those things that most people consider unsightly. But I like looking at that kind of stuff. I guess maybe I'm just a weirdo. Whatever, you know how you know how this goes. But at any rate, I digress. I think it's cool, and I always like when people appreciate little things like that. All right, so this is all done. Now we have the option to put in some ladders, which we will now do. I think I'm just going to go with a single ladder. Have the... Oh, come on. Don't crash on me. I need this on that side. Yep, we're going to put this right down here. And that's going to allow us to have access to everything else over here. And what we can do... I know this is kind of suboptimal, but these small warehouses we can stack on the very edge and actually take advantage of what we've got going on here in terms of space. So that is what we'll do. Got these guys right here, and I'm just going to use these to store chestnuts just so we can have a backup storage of those guys. Because we already have these two for sunflower seeds, which realistically we shouldn't ever have that many of. I just want to use the space effectively, because I think it is a shame to have all this extra cool capacity and stuff that we're going out of our way to construct and just, you know, not use it. So that's why we're doing that. And then obviously right here I can't really do exactly the same thing because of the way this is set up, but I can on the very end here do something like that. Or I don't think we need to have water storage, but if we did, we could put a small one down there and do something similar. For right now, I think we're probably fine just putting in more of these storages for... Oh, did I do sunflower seeds on these ones too? Okay, I guess that's fine. I meant to do chestnuts, or am I just talking to myself like a crazy person again? Tends to be how this works. Did I really do all of these as sunflower seeds? No, that one's chestnuts. Okay, good. That one's sunflower seeds. This needs to be chestnuts. I don't know why I don't know why I clicked all of those other things. Chestnuts, 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 chestnuts. Say that 10 times fast. Break your brain. All right, so this is going to be chestnuts, as is this one on the very top. And there you have it. We'll just extend our path all the way through here. And there's a little bit of hidden food storage infrastructure where the beavers don't have to look at it. Now, another thing we could have done is we could have buried a monument under here, because as far as I can remember, the monument effects are applied to the entire vertical column of space, no matter where they are from a height perspective. So I was kind of thinking, you know, maybe we want to have a monument under this guy, but, you know, first of all, there's not enough height, really, to do the way I wanted. I want to sink the first layer of these lodges down into the ground, which we're going to try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but I think that would be a super cool thing to do, so we're going to try it out. And right here, we'll turn this, of course, into more storage for chestnuts. We might have to plant some more chestnut trees. But now we have all of this is all connected through this single ladder. And we can come in on top with our efficient farmhouses right here, and that is looking just fine. And we can even go a step further and have a platform coming over the top of this, and just have this extend all the way across. And then right here we can have these tanks right next to everything right here to store a little bit of water, because we don't have coffee, and little bits of water storage close to where you know, beavers are going to be spending a lot of time. Never a bad idea. And then in the back here, this gives us a little bit of space to put in some stuff like maybe some shrines. So we'll do a shrine on the outside, and then on the inside, we don't need medical beds because we do have our little beaver hospital right here. But we can come in and put in, out of our decoration, we can either put in some shrubs, we can put in a beaver statue, or some other stuff, or even some benches. But I don't think the beaver statues really fit great here, so I'm just going to put shrubs. That is going to be a pretty high traffic area, so I think that's going to look nice. And we can enjoy that as well. We do have this one space right here. Now we have a 2x1 if we want to stick something there. So I figured, you know, why not just go ahead, put in, unlock the bench first. Just put in a bench here. I don't know if I can put a platform over it. Oh, I can. Cool. Let's do that, and then we'll put a roof on top of the platform, make a little covered sitting area, maybe so the farmers can rest. And then in the corner here, I don't think we have, well, we could put one of these tiny, the greatest craftsmanship stuff in there, but I want to do something more special for that. Nothing else is really going to fit in there, but we do also have these decoration blocks, and I think it's either these or over here in landscaping, some of these do count toward that beautiful dam. Look at our well-being, looking good. Our beautiful dam stats, and I don't know which ones it is, but let's see if I can get one of these interesting looking things on. And I just don't know. Decoration internal corner. I mean, it's 70 science. Okay, so that's kind of an interesting little piece here. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what the best piece to put here would be, just to have something. Not entirely sure how this whole mechanic works, but I do like that idea. Decoration internal corner double height. No. Well, let's just stick that there, if for no other reason than to say, hey, weird little public art in a wealthy area for the purpose of just existing. So, hopefully this is an improvement. I think it is, personally. It's level to the ground. It's got a lot of storage underneath. It has some utility. And we should be able to reap the benefits of this very, very nicely. So that's done. Taken care of. That's one major item we wanted to look at today. And hey, look at this. Look at this. We got our smelters going on over here, which means we can finally retire all of these, our faithful flywheels. But now this area looks a whole lot nicer without having all that stuff over there. And all the industrial stuff is centered in this area. We are generating more power than we're consuming, which means our buried flywheels are, or hopefully, increasing their storage power, which is fantastic. Looking good. Also worth noting, Flywheels mod did get an update. Now we have large horizontal framed flywheels. And vertical, and then of course the regular ones as well. And they store 150,000 capacity, and they only lose 1 per hour. Versus the medium framed ones lose 4, and they only store 15,000. So eventually we're going to get into these guys. Not quite yet. It's a little bit outside of our scope currently. But we are going to work toward that. Now, it's the end of the drought. Let's just pause this real quick, because I want to rebuild our housing over here. We already have this guy kind of like built into the side. I don't think we're going to get rid of that. Probably just leave him like he is. But our hauling post builders aren't even really working here at all right now because we have other stuff going on. But I am going to go ahead and almost entirely clear off this whole little island outside of the district center. And this whole area on the back here, I think we can turn into a nice housing complex. Make it look pretty good here. The beavers aren't going to leave just because there's nowhere to sleep in this district anymore. Even though we only really lost 6 beds. But I had the idea. We have our double lodge. I don't know why the double lodge is at the end of the triple lodge isn't, but I had the idea of kind of burying this stuff kind of 1 tile down. Because it doesn't matter if the bottom half of this building floods, so long as the door doesn't. And if the door floods, when it's 1 tile down, then, well, the whole island's flooded anyway, so who cares? So what I was thinking of doing, blasting this down, these 6 tiles, and then these 6, and then these 6, and actually just having this whole thing blasted down by 1, so that the height would only be 1 above, make it a little bit of a shorter building, and hopefully looking a little bit nicer. So what we'll do is just have that like so. And I think we could leave this corner piece in place. If I don't like it, I can just blast it away later. But that is the basic gist of it. To bury it 1 tile down, create like a little U-shaped thing, so we can put roofs on top and not have it be completely ridiculous looking. And it's going to be a pretty good upgrade to our capacity for beavers as well. So we'll let them get at placing all of this dynamite down. And that should be a nice improvement. We'll relocate our builder's hut and our hauling post over here to the actual industrial area. And I could just go ahead and put the hauling post right on the top here. And builder's hut not too far behind, right there, nice and dense in the same spot. Let them place that. Meanwhile, well, it actually is the drought now, which doesn't really matter because we have a ton of power stored up. Everything's looking good. Water-wise, we might start running out, but I'm not really that worried about it. We'll get it figured out. They cannot reach these, which is a little irritating. But I think we can fix that by just putting in another pathway. Yep, there they go. Now they can reach that. So we'll line that up with the door, which we have. Looking good. And now we don't actually need... Please do not crash, thank you. We don't actually need these paths here. This whole thing up here can get turned into... realistically is probably going to end up having to be sunflower seeds. But I did want to leave space for another one of these farmhouses. So let's just decide... I think right here is probably not bad. I could do this, but I think just having this with another two paths is not going to be a killer for us. Kind of spreads things out a little bit. And then along this entire other section here, where's my, there we are, sunflowers. We'll just plant all of this area as sunflowers, and hopefully that helps us out with our storage of all of those fun things. Yeah, our haulers will come take those away here and bring them into storage. We don't need to be storing them up here. The farmhouses will hold enough for at least a little bit, a day or two worth of harvesting. And then they can just bring them down into this part of the map and everything will be a-okay. So it looks like this is ready to go. Let's just make sure no beavers die during explosions. Blasting away in the middle of the night. I'm sure the beavers absolutely love that. But here we go with our triple lodges. And note how that's kind of inset. I really like that. I think it's a much cleaner look. It certainly is not as busy as having them up way, way, way into the sky. So if we have that set up like that, we can have a little area in the middle here to put in some other stuff they might want to have access to. And we'll just connect it right here. Just like so. And if we want to, we can have something over in this side. Maybe even some rooftop patios. No, that's not what the game calls them. Rooftop terraces would be perfect for a place like this. Or we could just have them on top of the buildings themselves. Yeah, but the way this is set up in the corner isn't really going to let us put too many of those in place. Although I'm not going to say that that's the worst thing that's ever happened. I do think, however, I'm going to put in something on the side here, even if it's just a roof piece, just so we have that that benefit, that 1x2. Put that guy there, and then in well-being, we'll give them a rooftop terrace. Just like so. Not the worst thing ever. That gives both of these guys right here the benefit of the roof, even if it doesn't give this guy. But we have a secret ingredient, and that is, guess what? Another one that we'll do. We'll do the 2x2. Either this way to match the door, or this way to match the longitudinal aspect of the building. Say that one 5 times fast. I think this works just fine. And that'll get both of those looking quite nice. And we do have our one rooftop terrace. So since we're already over here, let's unlock our 2x3 roof and our 3x2. What we can do is we can actually build these up in a different manner on the sides if we so choose. I wish I had a longer version of this that wasn't going to be such a problem to use. If I do this, I can put a 1x2 on top of that. That's going to look cool, but it's going to be too high. I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking crazy here. Fortunately, the 2x3 always looks nice and smart. Those two roofs there will give these beavers those benefits as well. So that's going to be fine. We'll get that built. And there you have it. So we're going to have to be careful here to not let overpopulation become a thing. We're actually going to transfer these guys over. I'm going to say let's have a minimum of 36 adult beavers in the Iron Islands. So bring them over here. And that's going to take our open beds down to 10, which I think is a much more reasonable amount to grow naturally. So again, right now, little 2x3 roofs here. And then I can either choose to put in, oh, I have to have a pathway to get into this. Okay, yep, makes sense. Put that guy there. Now that's connected. And then we can either put a staircase going up here, or we can just put regular roofs up here. I think for right now, just for simplicity's sake, let's just do that. Put the regular old boring rooftops up there. Dress this area up a little bit, make it look a little nicer. And that is going to be choice. Yeah, already making huge improvements here. All the stuff on the ground, they will eventually gather up. Not really that concerned about it. And we can start laying the groundwork for our additional expansions over here. Remember, we're going to have another 6. I think 3 deep apiece is what we ended up working out to. Let's see. Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3. I guess that's it. Yeah. Well, I do need to get this all situated here. I think if I have it set up like this and I only do one at a time, it's going to let me get away with that. I think somebody pointed out in the comments, I like that you make an Among Us with the dynamite when you do this. I wasn't even thinking about that. That's just one of those things of like, okay, well, I got to make sure that I have a pattern that's going to get the most exploded at one point in time, and this one does it, and then you just have to do the last bit. So, all right, let's leave that alone. Look how much we've already gotten done in less than 40 minutes. How about that? When you kind of cut the you-know-what out, then stuff goes a little bit faster, doesn't it? Stray pathway, glad we caught that one. And now our sunflowers are growing a little faster. This guy can get detonated. 2 carrots in his place. And yeah, should be in a really good spot once we have more and more of these sunflower seeds going in, which this hopefully should help. I think it will. Now we have 11 open beds. We have a very ugly apartment complex that's about to be torn down and rebuilt in a much more satisfying way. But yeah, I'm very happy with how this is turned out. I think this is going to be great in terms of storage, even though we aren't really able to use these large warehouses yet because we don't have enough sunflower seeds. We'll get there though. Let's also take these paths out. We don't need them. And we can do something else with this at some point. But now the fun part. And this is where we're going to find out just how long it's going to take to get everything figured out here. We don't need that lumberjack there anymore because we're not cutting any more trees down. So, yep, there we go. We have 70 beavers, 69 beavers actually, that are not employed. So before we demolish this, first of all, let's set this to 1x speed. Let's find a couple spots to put some more hauling posts in. We have all these builders' huts. Make sure stuff gets built fast. Hauling posts we do have. They're just not really put in logical spots. It's more like, hey, well, this will fit wherever. We got one here, we got one here. I actually don't remember where the other ones are in this district. Are they over? Yep, they're over here. Well, it doesn't really matter where they go because the beavers don't really have to go there. They'll just go there if there's nothing else to do. So, just so we have the beavers actually have stuff to do, I'm just going to go ahead and build, say, 4 more of these. I know we have more than that in the amount of unemployed beavers, but might as well just go ahead and just build 4 more. Give them something to do. And hopefully increase our effectiveness in our industrial pursuits. So that's looking good. Now it's time. I guess we could wait till the morning after they've all gotten their sleep, but we're gonna raise this tower, and by raise I mean R-A-Z-E, not R-A-I-S-E. Gonna burn it down, or at least delete it, and put hopefully something that looks a little bit better in its place. Maybe not quite so tall, maybe a little bit wider, with a little bit more of a focus on aesthetic design. Although I personally don't think this looks terrible. It's just, it's not great. It could be better. It's definitely a little bit better than most things I've built in my Iron Teeth playthroughs. But we are trying in this one to make things look a little bit nicer, and I'm not totally in love with this one either, but currently it works. I really like this. It's just not very space efficient, which I guess doesn't really matter for the folktales. But that is a pretty cool looking thing. But this, I think, can be something special. Now that this area, well, they still have a bunch of stuff on the ground because they don't have log storage. They don't have enough log storage, at least. That is so much better than seeing all those smokestacks over there, when instead we have smokestacks over here. That's fine. So we can just keep on blasting this down. That's going to be kind of a... That's going to be a whole thing. We'll have to keep coming back to that. But once the beavers start pouring out of this, we will tear it down, lay out our plan for the new one, get that built, and then see where we are at that point. But I imagine by that time, we're going to be out of time for today. I did say, again, that we're going to try and do some shorter episodes so that people don't get so burnt out from watching, and so I don't have to spend hours and hours and hours every time I do one of these. I do have other things that I need to do in my life, although I do really, really enjoy this. All right, it's morning time. Shouldn't be sleeping anymore, but you know how it goes. So, pause the game. get our mass deletion tool, click and drag, and there we go. Oh, okay, hold on. How, tell me how this works. I've deleted the entire support structure. Oh, this is exploitable. I've deleted the entire support structure of all of these platforms, but they remain in the air. Now we're gonna get rid of this, but I just want to take a moment to appreciate the absurdity of just floating platforms. This is Minecraft alpha vibes right here. Anybody who played Minecraft in, I don't know, 2010, 2011, I think maybe 2011 was when it went into beta. But yeah, the floating islands of sand, and you touch them one time and the whole thing falls down. Yeah, that's what this is. So yeah, let's wow. Let's just mercifully send this thing back from whence it came and get on with our lives making something bigger and better. Now, it's not going to be finished by the time these beavers have to go to bed, but look at all this. Look at all these materials, man. Got to get rid of that. So here's the idea that I had. I'm going to sink these down, but I'm not going to mess with the dynamite until I'm exactly sure what I'm doing. I was thinking we'll leave a space, like a buffer here. We could actually have the outside like that, and then on the inside have this kind of inset. I'm not exactly sure how I want the inside to really work, but if we did something to the effect of even just having this back in here like so. Why is it? Okay, that's the wrong key. Or put doubles or something in the middle, but the idea is I want to have kind of a courtyard in the middle, and then the outside of the buildings to be activated with the pathways, so it's not just such a hideous, cold streetscape. Like that's a term you'll hear a lot in urban planning circles and everything like that. Is you have these big, tall office buildings in downtowns that were designed around cars and not people. Atlanta is especially bad, although it's getting a lot better. It was especially bad about this with no street level retail or engagement for anything. So you have these giant buildings just go up hundreds and hundreds of feet into the air, and it's just a sidewalk. You got like an 8-foot sidewalk, and then you have a car sewer of a street that's like 4 lanes, 45 miles an hour, leaving the city. No, that's bad engagement for pedestrians, and it isn't good for property value or any sort of feeling of, hey, this is a place I want to exist and live in. And since we're not playing the Iron Teeth, we don't have to create a hellscape of unlivable misery. So let's avoid that. Let's avoid that here. I think we're going to go in the middle here. I've got my 2 double lodges. And then I have this inside is just the back windows, and these engage on the outside for the bottom level. But if we go over here, set these guys up like this, then this is more or less the same footprint in terms of total size of the building, but it's it uses the space a little bit more efficiently as we go and stack upwards, and it's not so uninviting. Of course, this is going to be sunken down 1 level. I just want to play with this a little bit before we commit to it. But we have this like so. Notice there's nothing on the back here, because this is just, there's nothing back here. But you have this space inside where these guys are going to be coming in, and they're going to be able to make use of the space. I wish I still had the mirror buildings mod so I could flip this guy to have his door on the inside. But in this space inside here, remember this is going to be down 1 more, we have space to put in stuff like, well, not medical beds, but shrines and little repositories for stuff like books, and maybe a small water tank, or like I guess we could call them snack machines. I think we've referred to those before. Landscape it a little bit, maybe plant a tree or 2, because we do have the forest right here, and it just makes it a little bit more of an inviting place to live. And then as we go up, could do more of these triple lodges. Again, still facing the outside for those balconies, but we also have the option to kind of terrace stuff. So instead of having it like this, we could even just have this end up being built over this other stuff. We could put our double platforms. Remember, in the actual build, this will be sunken down in 1, so these would be single platforms. But if we have that set up like so, we could actually take in our triple lodges one more level here. So then you have the opportunity to create either like a secondary walkway below here for beavers to walk by, or you could landscape this, or you could just put in stairs coming straight down, and then you could stagger them side by side so you're not blocking doorways. There's a bunch of different things you could do. I'm not super in love with this idea, but I do think it would be a smart idea to consider kind of changing things up so it doesn't look quite so stagnant. But we also have the option, remember we have our regular lodges that we could use to make it a little bit less ridiculously tall, ugly looking. And we can also build up 2 levels and then just completely enclose the whole thing with side platforms if we have the metal platforms to anchor them to. And then just have this be open on the bottom and put stuff under here, kind of like a little covered atrium kind of thing almost. Which, let's just simulate that real quick with these double platforms. So assume that this is just kind of a blank slate to build on top of. If we did something like this with our triples and just turn them back around like this, now we have an activated space in the middle that we could use for any sort of a purpose. We don't even have to have this necessarily closed off, but there's plenty of space under here if we wanted to do the regular lodges. Remember, we have the ability, because we have the 2 separate things right here, we could have these guys like this actually open with these different terraced levels, and then on top of something like this we could put roofs, or we could put the rooftop terraces, or even on these lower levels, since this is something that these guys can now get out to. And obviously we don't want to block our doorways, but with a little bit of finagling, I don't think that is an unreasonable goal for us to have. Now, obviously this doesn't look great, which is why I wasn't going to flip those around so much in the first place. But I think you can get the idea of what we're going for here. So the game is still paused, yes, because I don't want them to actually start doing this. So I think it would be beneficial for us to have a little bit more space and maybe change these 2 double lodges into triples. So let's do that. Get rid of our platforms here. Remember, this is all going to be sunken down at least 1 level. Just playing with stuff right now. If these become triples, we move this out around the outside here, then this is going to be level with the ground right here. We just have to have 1 platform so they can go around. And then inside here, we now have a lot more space. We could even, if we wanted to, blast another level down and then put in a Lido right in front, make like a little pool, and just have it. Actually, you know, I really like that. I think we might do that. Just put a Lido right here in the center, and then we could have cantilevered stuff over the top. So let's go ahead and actually build this for real. Just this one area right here. I can go ahead and put in the dynamite for our middle section, which is going to end up having to be... now I got to look at this again. Because we are going to have a dispenser for this. So I think... yeah, we're going to have to activate our front side a little bit better. We're going to have to move this back 1. Yeah, just butt this up right against the trees to be able to get that in place. So if we were to do that, and then we blast... remember, we have to have a path in between. This is for the actual Lido part, and then these 8 would be for the actual swimming part. And then we would just have to have 1 of these set up, blown up with a water dump, and have that be, I guess, our pool maintenance or something. Unfortunately, you can't hide those. That's just the way it works. But we can definitely start by blasting that out. And then just to remind myself what this is looking like. Yeah, that is going to look nice. Again, I set this back so we can have some landscaping here, either a fence or some shrubs or bushes or whatever, and create a little bit of curb appeal, I guess you could say. And then on this side, they have the lovely view of the tree farm, dandelion farm, and the frog paths under the water there. So I'll do this one piece at a time so I don't accidentally blow up the wrong stuff. Because, well, you know me, you know how that's typically what ends up happening here. I'll make some simple mistake because I wasn't focusing. So I'm going to help myself out, help you guys out. Save ourselves a little bit of time. Blow this up. And then we'll start building stuff in place. So go ahead and set this on triple speed. 122 homeless beavers. So we're going to need to get stuff going a little bit better. But look, our numbers of sunflower seeds are increasing, kind of. I imagine our packing plant is going to be happily plugging away at these just as soon as they can get them. Yeah, it's just one of those things that's going to take a little while to have the elasticity of production catch up. But looks like we're going to be in good shape. Let's leave them to that and come back over here, kind of multitask a little bit. Put that guy back in, and now a lot of this should be good to go. But I'm not going to set any of these off until they're done because I don't want to kill beavers unnecessarily. Yeah, they're almost finished with this. They just got a little bit more to do, picking up all these different materials, putting them in different spots. They're going to end up using a lot of it to build what we were trying to build in the first place. All right, so it looks like that's all done. Let's prime all of this. Please do not walk into this and die. I can see you going for something, Shetzy. Don't martyr yourself. All right, nobody died. Good. That is always the hallmark of a successful building project. All right, now, yeah, let's set these down. And that is just so much nicer, sinking that first level into the ground. It's not as imposing. And we could even just start out like this and organically build on top. But I did want to make sure that we got that taken care of. Our Lido is going to fit beautifully right here. A nice, attractive courtyard swimming pool, gathering place for our beavers. And what we're going to do around the outside here is actually use these as reinforced platforms so we can build up and have an awning over this and then build on top of it. But first, we have to go ahead and build another level up here. And I'm not going to set this back because I don't have any ability to do that. But having the two levels like this is a lot of beaver housing, just like it is. We don't have to go quite as high. So I think we can have a little bit more of an opportunity to make things look nice, you know? It doesn't have to be super ugly all the time. And I actually kind of like this. I think that's pretty nice. So what we'll need to do, I think, just thinking out loud here, platforms, if we have a triple platform, that means we can't get underneath. Double platform is going to be tall enough to get our guys up to these two doorways here, which is really the only access that's required over here. In order to do that, we're going to have a ladder, which I think, we're going to have to think about this a little bit more. Because the ladder placement is going to be important. That's going to be how we get up to the upper floors. We want to make sure we're not going to be blocking any necessary pathways with that. But I think if we go in the corner here, it's going to cause fewer problems than if we did in the middle. So if we did, just as an example right there, that way, and then I don't know if I want to put another one over here. Might as well just do that and call that a day, because we can place the overhangs off of all of that. We actually don't have to have anything on that side. If we did this, we could do side platforms. We do a 3x off the front like this. Now it's going to obstruct the views of these guys out of their front windows, but it would give us a very nice space right here that would be shaded, and I think would be very good for us to build on top of. So now you have kind of like a little... I really like this. I really like this. Even though their view is going to be kind of spoiled out of their balconies and the back of their building because of trees. But, you know, every apartment building is going to have the crappy view, the obstructed view seats at the stadium, whatever you want to call it. But this, I think, is a big improvement, at least in the practical design of the building. So we have this set up like this. If we go ahead and stack a few more things on top. I don't think we're going to use any of the taller buildings, but since we have our guys right here, we have these metal reinforced platforms that we could hang some other stuff off of. Just use this as a, what do you call it? I actually don't think I can build any more on top of this. No, I can on top of these, just not those guys. But, oh man, I have like the burning desire to actually make something that looks good and is complete, and not just say, well, that's good enough for now, and have everybody move on with their lives. But if we have those terraces right there, then I'd want to have an awning over some of them, but I just know that's not possible for everything. So maybe the better option is to come back here with the terraces, because then I definitely can have an awning kind of going off of both sides. Yeah, I think that's going to be the ticket. The reinforced platform is going to have to be a double height. Drag that all the way around. Yeah, I think we can live with that. 2x1 platform, rotate twice. Come back around this way. Give them a little bit of an awning there. And then one of these is going to have to be... I love how this like no longer cares that it doesn't have anything going on. One of these ladders is going to have to go all the way up for roof access, and I think we will actually make this into just a regular 2x3 roofing up here. It's a little hokey, a little strange looking, but definitely have made worse things. So we could, on the outside, put in a couple more of these and just have that be the outer bounds. But look at that; it's kind of like a private like forest garden overlook over here. I think that is less ugly than it originally would have been. We could also turn that around and have those face inside, but I like the idea of the outside balconies. I think that's pretty nice. And we definitely could be doing worse for ourselves. Now we have all this space up here that we could leverage into a little bit more of an intimate housing thing, where you have these guys right like so with their entrances there. Then on the front, we could even put in some other kind of a decorative roofing. I don't know if that's going to look stupid. Okay, that kind of does. If that looks weird, it kind of does. See, I wish I had more. I wish I had like a 2x3 that was 1 story tall. Because this looks okay. Not totally in love with it. I would like to avoid having another double-decker thing here, but we did go through all the trouble of shading the pool down there, so it just kind of feels like we need to have something else up here. Unless we were going to do some more terraces like this, and then we don't have any space in the middle to put anything else. I don't know. I'm kind of lost as to what I actually want to do here. I don't know. I think for right now, best option is going to be for us to have... Oh, we have the single. We have the mini lodges. I forgot about those. Ho, 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 ho. Look at this. Look at this. Mini lodge. You know, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Do we need this much capacity? No, we definitely don't. But are we going to be glad we had it? Well, also maybe not, but that I don't think is the worst thing I've ever made. Is it the best? No, objectively, but it is, at the very least, interesting. And we have a little bit of space here. I know this is not the best path layout ever, but for right now, I think it's going to be fine. If you have any suggestions about how to improve this, then I will definitely take them. But for right now, I think that is going to be about as good as we can hope to get currently. And of course, we could put another layer of these platforms up here. But for right now, I think this is probably fine. Let me know if you think this is a better design once it's actually built. I'm not entirely convinced that this is what we need to be doing here, but I think it's going to be better than a kick in the pants. And of course, we have to have actual access on the side here for these guys to get up and down, which we will build in momentarily. But I do want to get the building actually built first, which of course is going to mean that we have our area here for dumping, which is going to have to get blasted out also. So let's let's put our path in. I'm going to do, what did I do over here? Just regular paths? Okay, that's boring. Bricks for industrial. The stone, I thought the stone path looked pretty nice. So if we do this, just have this come all the way out front here. Doesn't look bad. Get those guys started building that. Of course, we're going to have to come around the outside and take care of the rest of this. But I think this is going to be a big improvement in many, many ways. And now this actually doesn't look that bad. We'll just have this come all the way around the side. There we go. And I specifically left this corner bit open because what we can do there is we can turn that into ladders. Just have that go up against the side of the building, like a little fire escape almost. And then we just have to have platforms come across the side here. There's not really going to be a super elegant way to build those. It is, unfortunately, going to look a little ugly. But I think overall this is a better looking building. Now, so we have 1,300 water left. We have a day left in the drought. I think we're going to be okay. I think we should be fine. Let them get to work with what they can. Come back over here. Try to get this all ironed out. I think that's as low as we can go. Yep. All right, so let's start with that. Then we'll do the same over here. Remember, this is going to be kind of a long process that we're still... Oh, you know what? I guess it doesn't really matter. I had that going all the way back. So now these don't line up, but I don't think it matters. I think it's I think it's gonna be okay. They should still be able to reach all this. Alright, let's come check on what's going on here. Yeah, they can't build the rest of this because they don't have access to it yet because they haven't built the platforms. But we are actually getting somewhere. Let's go ahead and put the Lido in there before we forget about that. Of course, we are going to have to detonate this. I just wish I didn't have to put the, I guess we'll call it pool equipment right in the middle of everything. I guess it's probably better before they put that dynamite in. It's probably better to put that hole right there so that the building that obstructs the view isn't in the middle, because that's where the hole is. We'll let them do what they got to do. All right, regular platforms coming up on this side, and then double platforms on top of that. No, that is incorrect. I need these bottom ones to be double platforms. I have it switched back. There we go. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It'll, at the very least, be functional. We can't forget to put our paths in place. Stone paths, I don't think it's going to actually care or make any sort of difference, but we might as well just have that match. So this now should be all buildable. I just wish I could do the suspended or the side platforms off of the buildings as well, so we could have like cantilevered balconies. I think that would look really smart, but alas, cannot. All right, so that's getting there. Got one more, and we'll start putting in our framed flywheels. Build our 3 of those guys there, and then 3 more here. And that's the end of the drought. We are getting very close to the end of today's I want to try and keep it around an hour. We're going to be closer to about an hour 10, but it's not 2 hours. It's not an hour and a half. So hopefully that is a little bit more digestible to those of you who don't like the longer videos. I do genuinely care about you, and I don't want you to feel like you're being excluded because of my video length. So we are going to be varying it, like I said before. But I want to give these guys a chance to finish this, or at least get it closer to done. I think they can do it. We just have to have the rest of these... oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't have this set up as a ladder. I probably should. Let's just, yeah, let's fix that. That path can go away, and then this becomes a reinforced, reinforced ladder. It's on the back side. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Just in case we ever want to go up. I know I have to have that taken care of. Alright, stone path across the top there. Cool. Yeah, this should make pretty quick work of that. And we'll get this set off. Just to make sure that is actually as low as it goes, which it is. Yeah, I gotta put this guy down here. We're probably not gonna get to this for a little bit, so let's give that a priority. There we go. So give me this guy, give me one more. Come on, click detonate, there you go. Make this a little bit higher up. And it looks like they're actually building these pretty fast. I think all this stuff on the ground here is helping them out quite a bit with that. Detonate, and we're good to go there. There we go with our more framed flywheels. 3 of those guys, and then we will go ahead and put in more smelters. I can get away with having 3 more of these, and then we'll of course have to put in additional framed flywheels. And yes, there we go. 1 more large windmill here should be enough. These 4 should be enough to provide excess power to power 6 of these. They do take 200 apiece, so that's going to be 1,200. And then, yeah, so that should work out pretty nicely once these are all rotating. And of course, there is power that's stored down underneath once those are all finished. So we'll leave that alone for now. I like how this is turning out. We need to do a little bit more in the way of storage here, but that's going to be a next time thing. Right now we're focused on getting the rest of this built, which it looks like they're making good progress on. I'm going to go ahead and prioritize this dynamite so we can go ahead and get that water dump in. And make sure all of that is set up good to go. Supply of the sunflower seeds is rebounding. We have 1,100 of the packaged food ready to go. That's looking nice. And this area, of course, continues to be completely fine. No complaints here. New farm's looking great. We have sunflower seeds growing here as well, so that number should continue to increase. We could go ahead and plant a little bit more wheat. I think our holdup at this point now is the processing for the wheat flour. We might actually want to invest in a proper grist mill or put a couple more of these Dutch windmills, which I'm honestly just tempted to put another one of these right here. We'll just have that do wheat flour. Should be fine. All right. Now, this is ready to go. Please do not walk in the explosion. Thank you. Good job. Proud of you. Let's put in water dump here. Little pool equipment building. Planks, we have 1,700, so I don't know why they're lacking on that. But let's get this built. I want to see these beavers swimming. And they're going to be working on this, of course. We have plenty of beaver builders. Should at least we have. Got at least 8. Yeah, these are all full. We have 20-some, maybe almost 30 builders. So you know they can actually get it done. We just have to wait on getting water in place here. And they'll be happily swimming along before you know it. Just got to get them out of their slumber. 63 homeless beavers. I think this should house all the beavers that are currently homeless. But we'll see what happens. So while we're waiting on them to finish all of this, I figure we go ahead and start getting you guys out of here. Again, really appreciate you being here, taking the time out of your day to watch these videos. It's always such a fun time to play the game and enjoy your company. So again, huge thanks to you for that. Thanks also to the beard boosters. We have a lot more of them now because a couple of you guys went on some membership donation sprees this weekend's live streams. Very, very grateful for that amount of support. So now I think we're up to, what, 70-something? Almost 80 beard boosters. Now, granted, I think 2/3 of those are gifted subscriptions, but still, if you bought your subscription or you got gifted, you're still a beard booster, and I'm still thankful for you supporting, even if it is in name only. So, appreciate you guys. Very, very thankful for you as well, as always. And I hope you'll stick around. We got a lot more coming. This video, of course, is, well, by the poll standards, is still a long video, but much shorter than the other ones. Hopefully you still enjoy this kind of a faster paced format. Try to get a little bit more done in a little bit less time. Thursday's video is going to be another quote-unquote shorter one like this. Might end up having to do some business travel this week, so we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys informed if any of my schedule plans change. But for right now, the plan is to have another video on Thursday for Timberborn, another Ostriv on Friday, and then live streams this weekend. Had a great time with Sweet Transit on Sunday. Fantastically fun game, even if it is a little frustrating. But yeah, if you hadn't had a chance to check that out, there is the stream VOD available for you. Feel free to give that a look. I think it's going to be a fun game. We're going to be doing a whole lot more of in our playthroughs here. But yeah, this is just about done. I'm actually, for the sake of time, going to time-lapse the rest of this construction while I'm giving this outer, I guess, monologue. Is that even the right term? But yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here once again. I truly mean it. I really am grateful that you choose to spend a little bit of time with me today. And I hope whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, you have a fun time and a safe time. And I'll look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Bye-bye.